Hello everyone, welcome on into the studio. We are in day 5 of ClayShareCon and we have a really great demo ahead of us. I'm so excited to share this with you. We have Paula McCoy joining us from Colors for Earth, and she's going to be doing some antiquing and brush strokes. And if you missed yesterday's broadcast with Paula, you're going to want to go check out the replay, which you can watch all of the replays from ClayShareCon forever and ever for free. So there's no excuse not to go back and watch it. But right now, we're going to send it on over to Paula, and we're all going to get our notebooks and our pens, and we're going to take lots of notes on what she's going to share with us. Hey, Paula.
Hey, Paula.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Well, we love having you here with us. It's been such a treat.
Awesome. So today, again, my name is Paula McCoy, owner of Colors for Earth, and I'm going to show you some antiquing on some stoneware bisque, so 04 stoneware that I've got, and then I'm going to do some brush strokes also using the color concentrates that I showed yesterday. So I'm going to switch to my overhead camera to get started. And then Jess is going to let me know if there's any questions out there. So what I've got here is a piece that I rolled out. This uses one of Jess's rolling pins. And which one is this, Jess?
That's the Lattice Flourish.
Okay, so it's got the lattice and then there's some scroll on the sides of it.
Flourish on the side, yes.
All right, so I've got my palette cam set up over here to show you colors. So I'm just going to I'm going to use the colors straight from the bottle. I'm going to use CC 151 color concentrate. This is our 2-ounce bottle, and then we have 1-ounce sizes also. And I was showing some of that yesterday. We have some different kits available, 3 different kits, or we do have a kit that has all 41 of the colors. So I'm going to put out a couple of the ceruleans. This is regular cerulean and then deep cerulean. And I'm going to use my Sumi brushes, okay? These are a black squirrel hair. They're very soft, and I'm going to wet the brush. I'm not going to necessarily dilute the color. I'm just going to use the water in my brush, and then you can apply the color to an area. If you want it thinned down, I know Jess does her watercolor technique, but then you can also come back and you can wipe it off the surface. And that makes it even lighter, and it just antiques basically in the background or down in the crevices. So just I'm going to just do this one with multiple colors. Okay, just to show you. And then I'm going to rinse my brush and go into the deep cerulean, so it's a little bit darker. So you can manipulate them. They are a pure color in a gel base. So that allows us to be able to move them around. If you want more movement, and you can see the different tones there, then you can add our gloss medium to the colors. And that's what I was doing yesterday on my blending. Our gloss medium is our CSP01. It does come in the Glaze sampler kit with the 14 primary colors. It is a non-toxic clear glaze and meant for ceramic glaze, okay? Because I know there was a lot of questions yesterday, but you can use it to do surface techniques, but then still use your zinc-free or your, non-zinc high fire or mid fire glaze, okay? So you can do it either way. Just don't use my clear glaze on top of, I'm going to grab a red here that's got some medium mixed in it, because it will craze. It's not meant for high fire. We don't have a high fire glaze. In the samples that I've done, I have used Mako's. Let me show you that one. HF9 zinc free. That's the only one I could get my hands on locally. Everything is really scarce at the moment. Bottles, color, it's just hard to get it. Okay, so this one has the medium in it. Let me rinse my sponge. And there again, you can wipe back the excess. Okay, so pretty cool that you can do that. You can do gradations or ombre effects. Now this one I have glazed half of it, but I took the 150 cerulean, 151 light cerulean, and deep cerulean, and I just went from one to the other. Okay, and that's just pure color. And same thing, this was on Stoneware 04 bisque. If you want to use the colors, yesterday I showed you how to use them with the medium added in them, but I want to show you on this little one because it has the flower that I have on one of the examples on the paperwork. So on my blog, I put a page that says ClayShareCon, and you can go to that and download that PDF. But once again, I'm going to use my semi brush, and I'm going to do the outside of that flower petal with the cerulean, and I'm going to tip in without rinsing my brush and go to the deep cerulean and just kind of play with it. And it causes those colors to bleed and blend together. So if you're going to use the colors pure, they're stronger. That's what I'm using, is pure concentrates. And do the complete petal at one time so that you're working wet on wet, you'll get a better blend. So did you notice I turned the piece, I'm tucking the color in, and I'm really working it until I get the look that I want. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Any questions, Jess? While we're
Everybody's just saying good morning and just watching. Okay. So there is a question about the gloss medium. Do you have a gloss medium for cone 6 firing?
I do not. That's why I grabbed the Mako that I found at a local pottery place because I don't have one. Yeah, I've mainly been concentrating on, you know, it's ceramic. The 0406 is what I've been doing for years, although I've done some porcelain, I've done some stoneware. But when I use the gloss medium on those type of surfaces, for instance, this is the Mako Stoneware Mug, and I've added the gloss medium to the colors. And what happens is it makes that area glossy, but your background stays the stoneware, which is kind of neat if you want a design, you know, a surface design where you don't have to glaze the whole thing. So that's kind of fun to do. That's the stoneware, and then here's a porcelain piece. So it's a matte porcelain behind, and then I've added my gloss medium to my colors when I did my brush strokes. So you get, I like the different looks, you know, the gloss against the matte. Here is another one that I just applied the red all over and then wiped it back with the sponge. So that's kind of cool. And then of course I took these colors up to cone 6. I have not tested them to cone 10. And on the blog post, and I'll put it on Facebook too, this is the chart. So I've antiqued the chip on one side, and I applied 2 coats of that HF9 Mako zinc free glaze on the right side. So you can see that it tends to change it, wash it. And I know my Carbridge tried a glaze that has a zinc in it. So, and as soon as I can get my hands on some, I will post some of those examples. Okay, so you can see how you can use just the pure color. You don't have to have the 01 in it. It's just the key word is medium. And in the toll painting world where I came from many, many years ago, medium is an extender and opener, and it allows you to manipulate and do things that, because this is basically color in a gel. It's going to stain the bisque wherever you put it. Okay, so if you're wanting to manipulate and move it around more, then add the medium. You can still put your clear glaze over it. Okay, you don't have to worry about that. All right, so here's another one. Go ahead, sorry.
We had a question about the term you used, tucking it in. What exactly are you meaning?
Okay, so if I wanted color just next to this particular one, let me zoom in just a little bit. So if I wanted the color tucked in around here, I would water load my brush, drag off the excess, and I would tip into the color, and I would tuck that color where I want it. So tuck it in around the design. If I wanted to leave that raised area just white, okay? So that's the way. Also, like yesterday on this piece, I tucked the color up against. Okay, so I'm going to tuck the color where I want it and then let it bleed back into the water on my brush. The water is your carrier, and then your background shows through as your white color or whatever color your clay body is. So you're tucking it. So when I do down here, I tuck it this way. So I'm constantly turning my piece. I don't ever go at it like this because you don't get the same effect. You're going to get a real line. You're not going to get that soft transition. Good question. Do we have any others?
So just to clarify, these can go to cone 5, 6.
Correct.
for everybody who's wanting, because there's a few people watching. But so what I love is that Paula's showing us some low fire options, because that's mostly what she does. But there's a lot of us doing cone 5-6, and these will work at that. You just have to use the cone 5-6 glaze.
Right, correct. Yeah, and I did that on this piece. So half of it is glazed, half of it is unglazed, and this was fired to a cone 6. Okay, so we're all of these. Okay, so you want me to go ahead and move on to brush strokes?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. All right, so this particular plate here has strokes around the edge. I have one that doesn't have the flower painted. I'm just going to talk about some of the strokes real quick. So what I like to do, and some of you may know this already, some may not, but whatever your surface is, I divide. So just eyeball with a pencil. I'm just using a standard pencil and divide it in half. If you're wanting to be real picky, sometimes I just go for it and I get lucky and it works, you know, one of those things. So now you can divide those sections in half again, if you're trying to be precise and you don't have a pattern that you're following, and then divide those in half again. So depending on how many or what you're going to do, that gives you a look. Okay. All right. So then I'm going to grab just pure colors, which I've got cerulean and deep cerulean here. And I'm going to actually put out some more because I had a lot of water in those and I don't want water. What you need to do is make sure that both colors, if you're going to double load a brush, which is what I'm going to do here, that both colors are the same consistency. Okay, that is a key. Always dampen your brush, blot it out on a paper towel, and then I'm going to grab the light color and put my brush in it, just kind of work it up. It's like shampooing your hair. You don't want to tip just the tip of the brush in the color. You want to get the color on the whole brush. You don't just put the shampoo on the outside of your hair. You work it into the hairs. Think of it the same way. And then I'm going to tip into that darker color. So I've got it just on the tip of the brush. And so I'm going to do these comma strokes. And what I'm going to do is do a press, pull, lift, lift, lift to come to a tail. Okay, so when I'm in class, I actually give the piece to the student and ask them, they can do it right on top of mine so they can get a feel for it. Okay, I'm using one of our brushes, size 4. This is the 2004 KB. It's a natural hair brush. Okay, I think you can see that good. Okay, I'm gonna press, pull, lift, 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 and come to a tail. Okay, so a brush stroke is a combination of color, pressure, and the motion that you pull. So I'm not rinsing, I'm just going back into my light, pick up my dark. This one, I'm going to go the opposite way. So I'm going to start like under that tail and come this direction. Press, pull, pull, lift, 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 and come to a tail. Go slowly. Remember, the airplane does not go to the end of the runway and stand straight up. So if you just jerk off of your piece, you're going to see a real nasty line. Okay. And I'm tilting the plate sideways so you can kind of see the amount of pressure. Usually I anchor myself with my pinky. So press, pull, lift, 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 and lift to a tail. Okay. And my phone is blowing up over here on the side. Sorry if you can hear that. All right. So press, pull, and lift and lift. So you can see how that just creates a pattern. Okay, so always make sure those colors are the same consistency in order to properly load that brush. So slowly come off the piece as you're moving the brush. Does that make sense, Jess?
It does, yeah.
Okay, so press, pull, lift, lift, lift to a tail. Okay, so that's how I did those. You can do your dots that I have on this one. So I just thought it would be fun to create a little tail on those and do dot. I call these graduated dots. So the first time you touch down, and I'll show you on the best, and then the second, and then the third touch, it gets smaller. If you want the same size dot, you would load. So I think you can see over here in the palette cam up there on the right. So I'm going to just take the handle of my brush, and that will determine the size dot you get. Okay, so if you want a larger, like the large semi, let's use it so we get a larger one. And I'm going to dot, dot, and dot. So you can see that it gets smaller as you go. Now, before I start the next one, I want to make sure that I'm actually reloading my brush handle so that I get the same pattern, same sizes for each one. If you wanted, let's change colors. We'll go to the darker. If you wanted them all the same size, you would need to load for each dot to get the same size. Okay, so that's kind of fun. If you can't do strokes and you want to do like the dot mandala type things, that's a good way to do those. And the more you keep dotting, it's going to just get smaller and smaller because you have less on your brush handle. All right, any questions about that? No?
I'm going, no,
Okay.
everybody says, what a clear description of a brush stroke.
Okay,
And
good.
yeah, that was really helpful.
So the Sumi brushes are not, because I know a lot of you ordered those yesterday. And by the way, thank you, Kevin and Jess. We were inundated with orders yesterday, and we will process those as quick as possible. And thank you to all your members. It's been great. Don't use the Sumi brushes for brush strokes. It's too limp. Okay, this is not the same as these. These are Kolinsky hair, and they spring back to a point. Okay, clean up with water is the cleanup on the product. Okay, and now I'm going to take a square shader. This happens to be our number 8, 5200 number 8, and I'm just going to load. I'm going to do what's called a wedge stroke, and I'm going to load in the green, the light green, which is 161. And I do have the medium in here, but it would be the same way if you didn't. So you see how I'm working and getting that color in there. I like to take the writing in my brush and make sure it's facing me that I can read it. And I'm going to corner load the bottom corner with the dark green. And I've got to kind of loosen that up. Okay. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to blend. And let me show you overhead so you can see that. Blend. And I'm working it fairly quickly. Flip the brush over. And dark next to dark, I'm going to blend again. A lot of times I will tend to load that second color twice on my first stroke just to get it into my brush. And I'm going to just use these lines and create little wedge strokes, or they would be for little leaves. So I'm going to start at an angle. Okay, and let me zoom back in. I think it'll be better if I do. Okay, so I'm going to put the dark color at the top because I'm going to pretend that my stem is right here, and I'm going to press, pull, lift, and kind of slide off the chisel edge. I'm going to grab what's left on my palette over here where I blended, and now I'm going to do another one over here. Press, pull, lift, and lift off the chisel. And now I'm going to flip the brush over, and I'm going to go the other direction. Okay, so you have a little leaf pattern, which is kind of cool. Any questions, Jess, comments?
So people are loving how the decorative painting skills can transfer to clay.
Yeah, I mean, you can, I mean, what I did here on these, I did that same little stroke. Okay, this is the stroke going out. So I did a petal with it, and then I reversed it and did the leaf. So let me rinse my brush. You know, just like my water bucket that I had yesterday, just make sure that if you're using those that have that little rib in the bottom, don't take your natural hair brushes. That includes your Sumis. You want to just swish till they're clean. Check it on a paper towel to make sure you have the color out. Don't scrape them across those because it'd be like getting split ends on your hair. Okay, you don't want to do that to your brush because then it doesn't perform the same. Okay, so
and I just want to let everybody know that if they go to your website, to your blog post, you'll see the PDFs for these tutorials. So there's information there. So folks are asking about patterns and materials and stuff.
Correct. And then I do Tuesday night lives on my personal Facebook page, Paula McCoy, and then I broadcast to YouTube at the same time. And what I thought I would do Tuesday night, Jess, is I would come back and I'll finish the plate that I started yesterday, showing the Sumi shading, showing a blending technique on the leaves, the background, those type of things, if that's good for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you were going to do a flower, I talked about this a little bit yesterday, and this is going towards the brush strokes. I would make a circle the size of the flower I wanted, make another circle in the middle, which would be my center. And then I like to do a Y, and then you have two large sections open. So if you divide those in half, now you have a perfect 5-petal flower, and you can do those in any sizes. Okay. So let me grab a bigger brush here so that you can see this. Always dampen your brush first, blot out the moisture because you don't want the water to run onto your piece. And I'm just going to grab some of the blues and the fully load in the lighter blue, work that color into your brush. If you can see that. And then don't forget, right into the brush, up, corner load, blend on your palette, and the corner load again. So when I do my next stroke, I'm just re-cornering the light in the light side, dark in the dark side. So if you were going to make a flower using that same wedge stroke, you would press, pull, lift, lift, and come off. I like to load for each stroke to get the same color consistency. And this is going to be very large on this, but I want you to get the idea. So you're just pulling the strokes out. Do you see how I'm turning the piece? That is key. Do not sit there and try to work backwards or sideways at it. You want to make it comfortable for yourself. And I'm keeping the dark to the center. Press, pull, and lift, and slide. And then reload. Dark to the center. Press, pull, and lift. Okay, so now you have a flower. You could come in, and take some yellow and put it in the center. All that kind of stuff. All right, here is that Mako Stoneware Mug. So I did the same thing. I just did press, pull, and lift. Those are that same comma stroke that I've got here. Same here, same here. So you can see the difference. And then I've just layered 3 of them there. So let's do some of that real quick. Move that out of the way. How are we doing on time, Jess?
We're good. We got about 20 minutes left.
Oh, okay.
So you're doing
I'm trying to hurry.
Don't hurry. Don't hurry. You're good. You got plenty of time. Take your time.
Okay. So I'm going to take, whoops, put that in the camera, the red, and I'm going to add my gloss medium because I'm doing this mug and I want this design to be glossy on the surface. Okay. So just a little bit about how to get the pattern on there. So I laid my tissue paper, the cheapest tissue paper is better, over my design, and I traced it on with a pencil first. And then I laid it onto my bisque, and then I used that watercolor marker. Let's see if you can see that. These are Statler Tri-Plus fine liners. Let me get the container so you can see it better. Here's one of them. Okay. So Tri-Plus fine liner. They have like a Sharpie point. You can use Sharpie if you're going to fire it before you glaze it, if you're a low fire. But when you're working on the stoneware, you want to be able to get it all done, decorate and do it. So don't use a Sharpie because it can repel product. I use Sharpies on Greenware or for my Olica, but I never trap it between the surface and the glaze because it can cause issues. These are what my preference is. And I've been using those ever since they changed the formula on the Sharpies. So then you just trace over your design with those markers, and it's not solid, but it gives you enough that that's what you want. You can see where you're going to go. So I'm going to do those little heart shape. I'm just going to stir this up. So this has the gloss medium with it. You can do it without it. I just wanted this to be glossy on that surface. I'm still, again, using that number 4 round and press, pull, and lift. Remember, a brush stroke is color, pressure, and motion. So the amount of product or the number of colors on my brush, the amount of pressure will determine the size of the stroke. And then the direction that you pull will give that, if it's a comma and you're trying to pull and go to a different angle. But press, pull, and lift. Press, pull, and lift. Let's do some more of those so you can see that. So I'm doing the center one first so I can get my point. I know where I want to go to, and I'm overlapping it. So every time you overlap, it's going to be a little bit darker, and I'm not sure the camera will show that. It doesn't show up real well, but you can see. Yeah. Okay. press, pull, lift, press, pull, lift, press, pull, lift. So I'm pulling in different directions to create that stroke. Okay. Any questions? Is this
So
about, hopefully this
folks
will, go ahead.
Folks want to know, can they get these brushes and everything on your website?
Absolutely. So this particular brush that I'm using is the 2000, and it's a 4 KB, meaning a Kolinsky blend. We also own Cala Brush Company. So yes, we have a whole line of brushes out there. I bought that like 8 years ago or so, 8 or 9 years ago. Okay, so I'm going to do these. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
And folks want to know, what did you glaze the inside of your mug with? Did you just use a clear for that?
Well, this was done in 2014 before I knew about your high fire glazes. So I tried my glaze on the rim. You see how it made the colors bleed? And it crazed on the inside because it wasn't compatible. We don't have a cone 6 clear glaze. So on this particular one, I will brush on the Mako zinc free on this one and show it to you later. Okay. All right, so let's do, but yes, everything you can find on the website. If you have any problems, or if you crash the website like you guys did yesterday after my broadcast, you can always call me and place your orders. But hopefully we fixed the problem. We increased space so that we don't have that issue, hopefully. Don't forget to put on your coupon codes. And Jess, you want to tell them where those are at? Because I've had a couple of people that just put it in the comments, and what they don't understand is the website processes the credit cards. We never see those, so we can't adjust that. I emailed somebody this morning and said, you know, I can throw you in a couple extra colors depending on what, you know, the discount would have been, but it's much easier and it's less work, and you're going to get your order quicker if we don't have to go through those extra steps.
Yeah, if you go to claysharecon.com, so the whole conference website, and you click on conference deals and you scroll down, you will see that there is a whole bunch of things, but Colors for Earth has a 10% off code, and it's right there. And so if you click on the shop now and use that code, so highlight the code and copy it, shop now, and then paste it in and you get it. And so that's how you do it. It's easy.
And then you have another code that you sent out to your Prime members. Is that correct?
It's in the forums. So if you go to clayshare.com, if you're a premium member of Clayshare, you will see in the forums, we have a section all just for premium members, because we have some discounts that are only for premium members of Clayshare. And some companies are doing better discounts or only discounts for our premium members, and that's in the forums. And just a quick reminder, most of these discounts, not all of them, do end today at midnight. So if you're at the Eastern, I'm guessing it's Eastern time, midnight. We're Eastern, so that's I assume what they did. But if you need to get stuff, you need to get your stuff. And
I extended mine, I think, till the 4th to give them a few days.
Yeah, you did say that.
Being new to your group, I thought maybe we needed that.
So, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
apparently the site is gone again.
Is it gone again? I'm sorry. The Prime members do get a bigger discount, so be sure and look at that. So now I'm going to load with 2 colors. I'm loading in the cerulean and the deep cerulean, and I'm going to do, so on this particular one, these strokes are behind. This one is on the top. So that's the way I'm going to brush stroke it in. So press, pull, and lift to a point. I'm not rinsing my brush. I'm just going back and reloading both colors. And even on this one, if it takes 2 strokes, you can do 2 strokes. Isn't that cool? So hopefully this gives you some basic information to start with. On my lives, I'll do ceramics one Tuesday. We have glass products, so I'll do that. And then I do brush strokes also. And there are tons of videos on my YouTube channel that you can visit and see those. Just keep in mind that most of my stuff is low fire to 0406. So I will start doing, now that we're doing this with you guys, a few more using cone 6 instead.
So
go ahead.
I have a couple of questions. We have folks in Europe. Do you have any distributors in the UK?
You know, we have a glass distributor, Warm Glass UK, They do carry the color concentrates. They will not have the gloss medium, but because we use the concentrates on our fused glass also. So Warm Glass UK, and they can find any of our distributors on the website at the bottom of the homepage or any page.
So that's Warm Glass UK.
UK, yeah. If you just search for that, it should pop up. But like I said, they're a fusing center, but they do carry the color concentrates. Sometimes it's only kits. They may have a few colors that are separate, but that is our only distributor overseas. And we ship over there once a month.
Okay, I found the link. So
okay, great.
And do you have a distributor in Canada?
Not for this. No, we do not currently. Most of it's just glass. And I don't think the lady that's up there in Ottawa, I don't think she carries the concentrates as of yet. Okay. All right.
Somebody should call her and tell her to carry them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I ship to Canada a lot. You can also, if you're from, because I know somebody from Israel, I think, emailed me, and I will brown box it, get you a cost, and then tell you what it's going to cost to ship to you if you're outside my shipping areas that I have on the website. So I'm going to go to the square shader real quick and go back to that load in the light green, corner load in the dark. And I'm going to do this little leaf stroke that you see here. It's like a little bit of a wiggle to it. So it's similar to what we just did on that wedge, but I'm going to go here, press and lift, press and lift, press and lift. And it's just a little bit of a wiggle for a type of leaf, which is kind of fun. And then I'm going to turn it around. See, I'm constantly turning my piece. Press, press, and press, and come off. That's how you do a leaf. I want to show you real quick how I do outlining. And I'm just going to use the black color concentrate, CC 101. The products do come in 1 ounce, 2 ounce, pints, and gallons. We've had a lot of people order pints. So if you're doing stamping and you're going to do, you want a black outline, I always thin down my black with a little bit of water and work that into your brush. I'm using our 3600 liner, the number 2. We have 3 different sizes in this particular liner. It's a natural hair brush. Work it into your brush to get that color loaded. And then I will tend to do like one side. I've got too much on there. So press, pull, and lift. And then you can come in and add some detail lines. And I like to do like a little, see, like I had a bumpy edge there, so I can clean it up by doing that. So your outlining can make or break a piece, so to speak. But just remember, these are very concentrated colors. So I was talking to Jess, and she needs to, for her watercolor technique, she's going to have to thin it down, okay? Because they're so concentrated. Keyword. Let's go back to the ceramic piece. So if I were outlining this, I would do one side, and then I can pull in some fine lines. If you do too much and you do both sides, what'll happen is it can be too heavy and it detracts from the design. It's too much. Does that make sense? Hopefully. So if you've got a side that needs to be cleaned up, you can do that with your outlining. You could outline with the green even, but I like to keep it on the same side if I'm only doing one side. And do you notice how I'm constantly changing, okay, the direction? Okay, and I'll go into more detailing and stuff on my lives. I don't want to take up time doing that. Same thing, you can add the dots to there by just taking your handle of your brush. Remember, the handle determines the size. So different size handles will make different size dots. Okay. Does that hopefully help, Jess?
It does. What brushes would you recommend for somebody starting out if they just wanted to get a kit? Do you have a kit, or are there some
You know, I do have, it's called the Premium Kit. I have a YouTube on it showing those brushes and they work for glass and ceramic. There's some Taklon brushes in there. There's one of the Sumi brushes, the liners, a round. It's on sale. And you know what? If your discount, I didn't take some of the things off sale, so you're going to get a double discount on those. But yeah, or if you want me to put together a pack, just email me and I'll be happy to make a suggestion. But I would get a round, a square. So I'm using the number 8 square shader. And then I used a number 4 round. And we've got a couple of different rounds that you can do. One is the red handle. We use this for our paste. And then this one is a 5,000 round. And remember, it's like an investment, just like your stencils, your silk screens, or anything else. As long as you buy a quality brush, take care of it, then it's going to last forever. Okay, just like anything, just like a pair of shoes. If you buy cheap shoes, you're going to get cheap shoes. They're not going to last as long, right?
Right.
Okay.
Exactly.
Do I need to go back and do some more antiquing, or?
If you make a mistake, what can you do? Can you wipe it off and start over?
Only if the medium is in there, and the darker the color, it tends to stain the best. Remember, you're working on a surface that's porous, whether it's ceramic or your stoneware. It's still not up to, cone 6, so it's going to absorb. And you saw when I wiped back on some of these. So this color we put on there, 20 minutes ago? If I try to wipe it off, it's already stained the best. That was pure pigment, okay, straight from the bottle. So it's going to stain it. It's not, unless you put say a white base down, like if you used our color stroke, which is our opaque underglazes, put that down and then did design on top of it, you've got, a little extra time that you can actually get it off of there. But normally it's pure color, concentrated color. So it's going to stain the bisque wherever you put it. Okay.
Fantastic. I just want everybody to know, if you go to Paula's website, colorsforearth.com, and you click on the blog tag, you will get the PDF information for the brushes she's using and the materials here. So you won't, I see folks are asking, can you ask her to say everything again? She said it already many, many times. You can also watch the replay, but it's always nice to have a printable version and a reference there, so you can check that out. Though her website is kind of crashed right now, though. I'm just going to let you guys know too. She said, I just want to tell everybody, you had 76,000 people hit, 76,000 hits to her website. That's an incredible number. And that's what happens with ClayShare when we showcase people and products. So it's a little insane. So just please be patient and realize that if there's 76,000 people, there's a lot of people.
Yeah, it can't. And I thought we fixed it last night.
We're probably getting more even than that today. So can you use the concentrates on leather hard clay, on Greenware? You
can. What I did yesterday was, these are a couple of stoneware chips. This was an 018. This is actually Greenware. And I base coated, and I can do another one here. This happens to be a green color that I cast. You know what? These pieces have been cast over 10 years ago, which is insane. I had them stored in a cabinet. So you can just take the color, and I should have picked a different color. This is a green stoneware glaze, or excuse me, stoneware slip. And so I'm just blocking it in with those Sumi. This had a little bit of water, so I'm putting, say, 2 coats on there to get a nice solid coverage. And then you can come back. I was showing yesterday, this is green, this was just the white, and you could carve through that. So yes, it can be done, absolutely, which is kind of fun. And I think we'll work with some of your techniques, Jess, that you
I know. I'm really excited to try them. I plan to use them before ClayShareCon and have examples, but there's not enough
that didn't happen. Yeah,
I tried. So folks out there that are watching, or that are new to this, we had a really good suggestion from one of our members. Said that if you've never used this technique before, you could probably practice with acrylic paint on a tile just to get the strokes down, right? So they're not using their ceramic material up. So you could just wipe away the acrylic paint and keep practicing till you get that stroke movement down.
Yeah, and a lot of times what I'll even do is put some food coloring in your water bowl and then just stroke on your bisque. Like this is ceramic bisque. This is I don't know, a Dunkin' plate, I think it is. Anyway, you can stroke with the food coloring, and you can even practice banding with food coloring just to get the technique down. You can put it back in your kiln and fire it to your 04 and it's gone. You didn't waste your piece. It's a great way to practice. Or go get a cheap set of watercolors at the dollar store. And if you have like newsprint paper or an old phone book sitting around, if anybody still has those, I used to tell everybody, sit there while you're on your phone with your girlfriend talking and actually do your strokes, you know, with your watercolors. And that way you're not wasting your products. Okay.
Such a good idea. So, we have about 3 minutes left. So
okay,
keep going.
So here is the color wheel that I think I have that posted on the pages too. And I show you
test plates. You know, they make my day. I love test plates. I love going into someone's studio and seeing that they put the time into making this fabulous reference and resource material. I love
it. And this is just showing 1, 2, and 3 coats. So you can see with 1 coat of the concentrate, it's thin. And this is on 04 bisque, and I clear glazed it with our glaze and fired to an 06. Again, here is the chart for you guys as far as, and this is on that PDF. So you can see, I really like this one, Jess. Can you see that? This is the CC 102 white. And of course, where I didn't glaze over, look at it, almost looks like a really cool nutmeggy glaze.
Yeah, it's nice.
So, and here's the nutmeg color. So there's a lot of different things you can do with it. And I'm anxious to see what your members do, because they're going to try things that maybe I haven't even tried, you know, because they know
they tend to do that. They always are thinking outside the box. So if someone wants a color a color concentrate kit, what one do you recommend for beginners?
So I like the kit number 1, and it has the primary colors in it. Okay. And we have 3 different kits, and we also have the 41 kit. So this is number 3, and this is the size, and you can get them in the 1 ounce size, or you can get in the 2. So you have that option to put in your cart, whichever one you want. And just remember, if you're ordering the Sumi brushes, make sure that you get, oops, I just knocked my camera over, the blue handle ones. Okay. Because those are different than the Nocturna ones that I have on there. These are what I'm using. Those other ones we used in the interim when we had a downtime and couldn't get them made.
And do you have a set for the Sumi brushes too?
Do I have a flat?
A Sumi brush set.
Yes, that is the set. Okay. So the 4, so
right.
It's a mini, small, medium, and large, where you can buy them individually. And they are on sale already, and then you can use your discount. So you're getting a double discount, which is awesome.
Wow, okay. That's amazing. All right, so I could probably take one more question. Let's see. Will they freeze during shipping? And if they do, what happens? The color concentrate.
So if they freeze, just let them thaw out naturally. Don't force them to unfreeze, okay? But it will not affect them at all, not at all. You can mix any 2 colors together to achieve another color. You can thin them down, but they're in a gel base. You do need to make sure you shake them really well to agitate them, so to speak. They're thixotropic, which means they just kind of become solid, and the more you shake and agitate or stir, they become liquid. So you'll think your bottle is empty, you just keep shaking and it's not. It's just on the wall, and you can add a drop of water. Like I said, you can intermix 2 colors together to get another color, and you can layer colors also. I usually work light to dark because they are a translucent underglaze, like a 1-stroke, easy stroke. We have opaque underglazes also, and we have glazes. Okay.
Fantastic. Paula, it has been amazing. We have 15 seconds. I don't think we can get to it. Let me see if there's anything quick. Do they have to use your clear glaze, or can they use any?
As far as low-fire ceramics, can you use any other? What happens is pinks and purples tend to bleach out or bleed, meaning they're not as strong. So test. I mean, we don't recommend you mix apples and oranges, just like anybody, but can you? Absolutely, you can. Yeah.
Always test. That's why you should make a test plate, everybody.
Exactly.
All right, Paula, thank you so much for 2 wonderful sessions with us. It has
Right.
been such a pleasure. I've learned stuff. I know everybody else has learned some things, and
So excited to try these techniques. So much information. Remember, all of these broadcasts will be available as a replay. You can watch them over and over for free, forever. Just keep in mind that this broadcast that just ended, it takes a little while for them to get put up, so they're not immediately available. They take maybe an hour or 2. So just have patience and wait. You can come back and watch it, have a cup of tea and everything. All right, so remember, that's colorsforearth.com, Paula McCoy. She does live broadcasts every Tuesday, and you should follow her YouTube channel and her Facebook page. Find her. All right, we're going to take a little break, and we're going to be coming back with Mako. Going to be combining stoneware glazes with stroke and coats next. I'll see you all at 12